What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode here on the Jimmy Dukes Gaming Podcast. We are joined by a good long buddy. I know, like, we ain't like the best of friends, but we've known each other for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Joe Perez. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great, brother. Doing great. Happy to let you invite me over here, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but thank you again.
Appreciate you, man. I know we were kind of chopping it up a little bit before we started recording, but we've actually known each other for quite some time, right?
Yeah,
we went to school. We went to school together.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We didn't really hang out, but we've known of each other for like the longest time.
No, and the crazy story is when we got older in the age, like our circles were united as one with closer friends, other friends.
Yeah.
So it was a hell of a team that came together.
No shit, right? And you know what's cool too? Like we were saying as well as when I was starting to get into my streaming, I was like, I need like some photography pictures.
Right.
And I had reached out to you, and that's when you were kind of already moving along with that photography shit, bro. And we did my first professional shoot, I guess you would say, here at the house. And I still, by default, I use the one from the side.
Oh, the side one, yeah.
Yes, I still use that one as a default one for all my pages.
That's still my favorite.
That's still a good one, bro.
That's still my favorite.
That's a good one. I still have those pictures, man. But thanks for coming on, man. I know that you've been doing your thing. You're a photographer, right?
Yes, sir. Been doing it. So yeah, photography. Damn, it's been a journey, but 6 years going on strong. I actually just recently did the count on that too, because I was thinking about it. I was like, how long have I been doing it? Because it's been coming up a lot. It's like, how long have you been doing photography? Yeah, 6 years.
Dang.
6 years strong doing it professionally.
Yeah.
Professionally.
That's what I was gonna say. So how long have you been taking pictures for, like, on your, like, as a hobby? Like, I just like taking pictures.
As a hobby, man, since I was a kid. I'll tell you a crazy story. I think you might know him too. He went to Parkland too. Eric Chavez.
Okay.
So when I was he's just lived a couple of houses down from me, but he was in middle school. This was 99, between 98 and 99, where he was.
Don't show your age now.
I know, right? Shit. But yeah, no, he was. It was around that time. He was in middle school. I was just barely going into middle school, and this is when middle school was only 2 years. Not now where it's 3 years.
Yeah.
But
7th and 8th.
Yeah, good old 7th. And 8th.
Right.
So they were there's a film class that they had, and they rented out. They gave him some cameras, and he was making a short film. This is when Scream was popular. So he tried to do his own version of Scream, and I helped him out with a little bit of the clips. The intro, it was just a little VHS camera and a piece of paper where they drew out the Scream name and the title and a strobe light.
Nice.
After that, I got into it with him. We did a couple of scenes, and then we left it at that. We never even premiered or showed the movie ever again until daylight. After that, man, I was just picking up disposable cameras, taking photos, going to car shows, just random family photos with cartons and cartons of disposable cameras. And then I dropped it for a bit, then came back with another camera. And then that's when the big VHS tapes, the small digital ones came around. And then MySpace came around, and everyone in front of the mirror holding that picture. That was me holding that, but I was taking a picture for other people. I was never in front of it. And then, yeah, I just spun out from that, paused for a little bit of maybe a good 2.5 years, and then went right back at it. Came 2017 a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Just
nice.
kept it going from there.
I like that you've been doing that, because, like I said, we were before you started recording. I was like, man, I respect the fact that you've stuck with it. Yeah. You know, because a lot of when everybody's trying to pursue something that's like freelance or something that's not a normal paying job, or even if it's like a hobby thing, it could lead to potentially like a business or something like that. And I've been seeing you do that, man. And you get better with your editing. You're always posting videos, different type of content. And I respect the fuck out of that, man, because I love seeing that shit, especially somebody that I know. I'm like rooting for you from afar, bro.
Appreciate you for doing that. Yeah, it's been a journey adapting to all the changes, because everything changes so fast.
Yeah.
So you gotta get the photo, then edits come down. The way people look at edits, and then you have to find yourself. When you're a photographer, you have to find that one style that suits you, and then it separates you from the most.
Yeah.
And when you're in there, I mean, yeah, there's been times here and there like, I want to put the camera where just pawn it, but nah.
Yeah.
I turned around and stuck to it.
Yeah. So like in 2017, you said that's when it was like, all right, I'm gonna really start pursuing this.
Yeah. Crazy story. I actually just paid off a truck that I purchased. It was a big Tahoe, and I was like, you know what? Let's do this. I stopped by a rent-a-center. And I was like, hey, you guys have that camera there? They're like, yeah. I was like, we'll let it go for 500. I was like, in payments? Yeah. I was like, how much you guys want for cash? I was like, no, we'll take it in payments. So I ended up, it was overpriced, but I took it out, and within the first year and a half, I paid it off right then and there.
But that's how you had to start, right?
Yeah, I had to start somewhere because I had no clue when it came to digital. I lost all sense of it, and I was like learning aperture, ISO, shutter speed.
I'm barely learning about that kind of stuff, bro.
The way it hit me, and I was like, damn. Like, I had to rethink, and I'm sitting there going to YouTube college, looking at it, and then practicing, and then bumped into other photographers walking around. They're like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, taking some photos, man. He's like, oh, I'm a photographer too. And bump heads, we talk. And it was like, hey, try this. And little by little, and every single chance I had the ability to meet a photographer that's advanced or further than me, I'd be like, hey, how do you do this? Always asking those questions, and got ISO down, got shutter speed down, and it was just a matter of just learning how to edit.
Right. Well, that's the thing too. I'm glad you said that, because when, for me, when I run into other content creators or people that do podcasts, I always have conversations because we're always learning from each other. So it's cool that by you just doing your thing, you'd be amazed how many people will be willing to help you out when they see. Because like, if I ever have anybody that starts talking about gaming or streaming or video or anything like that, if I know them, I'll be like, hey, like, do that.
Well, when we first did the photo shoot, how we started talking about what's it called? Copyrights.
Yeah.
We get into a whole conversation about copyrights. So like figuring out what to play, where to find it. Mm-hmm. It was total, especially when you mentioned Spotify, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spotify on the copyright list. I've been using that for the life of me.
Right, dude. There's and that's cool. And like, even though we were both pursuing like different things, we could always bounce like the lighting, that we were talking about microphones and shit like that, dude. I think when it comes like to content creation and freelance work and stuff that, that people do with this, like, you could learn by just asking how you were saying, right?
It's always asking those questions. And the theory came back to me, never such thing as a dumb question. Man, those questions were flying.
Right. So how did you lead? So obviously 2017, and then you're like, all right, you started like just reaching out to people that you knew for photos. Like, what kind of was the first type of photo shoots that you were doing?
So what actually got me really interested into photography was boudoir. I don't know why, but the couples and women just being themselves and they're comfortable in their own skin, I always found that like super cool. And in the way lighting changed it, can change a mood from either being like power strong about yourself and then having that little vulnerability to just be like all out there, like, yeah, I'm here, like my nipples out.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, what is that type of shoot?
So boudoir is pretty much just like boudoir is a image of, how can I put it? To me, boudoir is pretty much the image of a woman or male, both being captured in their natural power self. So being able to show their curves, body proportions, and of course, because everyone's in different sizes, so plus size, thin, petite, thick, muscular, they all showed some artistic way. Like the image of a man, I forgot the statue's name. You know which one I'm talking about.
The one of David.
There you go.
Yeah, the one with his little dick out. That one?
That one, exactly. Exactly. That one would be pretty much just like the definition of that in boudoir, and just putting that, and it just pretty much, it also it helps out people. Mm-hmm. I like it too, because that's one of the things, because I helped out people, because my first boudoir experience was with a woman that just recently got divorced, and she was just completely lost. And I told her, I was like, you know what? Fine, I got you. We set up a date. We got together. So I was like, we just chatted, a little conversation here and there. And so I was like, what are you into? What are stuff you like? And then whatnot. And then she came to me and was like, hey, I have these outfits that I never got to try out. I was like, let's do that one. And she had other ones. It's like, I want to go to these, but I know these were like kind of like more like my ex's kind of like. He was like, no, let's get something your ex would have never approved you wearing. Let's do that.
Right.
Once we got her into that, and then I had her do a couple poses, and she was like, at the end of the shoot, I showed her a couple of the photos, and she was just in awe. Like, wow, that's me. He's like, yeah, no, that's you. He's like, oh my God, fucking 16 years married. We divorced now, and I'm a whole totally different person. It's like, there you go.
So
to the world.
it was like an empowering.
Yeah.
It was like an empowering thing for her, and you were able to capture that for her.
I got that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that was like, what was that one like your first paid
that was
shoot?
actually my first that was my second paid boudoir shoot. The first one, that one was one of those photography mishaps. It was a couple. And yeah, they just
didn't work out.
They got the photos. I personally didn't like the photos, but they liked them. But it was their own private collection because there were those people that had those pineapples in their houses. So they loved it. And I was like, all right, cool. You guys liked it. Thanks for the time. Appreciate you guys.
Right.
It was a small room and it got hot. And I was like, fuck, and it got hotter with them too. And they're like, you know what? It's like, I appreciate you guys.
You said it got hotter and shit.
It got to that point. I was like, hey, you guys did great. Amazing work. Put those photos to edit. And I was like, yep. Thank you guys.
That's dope, man. So now that you've been actually like getting paid gigs, how long have you been getting paid gigs for?
So it's been on and off. So I've been doing it professionally. I've been actually getting commission photo shoots for the last 6 years. In every one of those years from 2017 to 2018, I think I went ahead and started off my rate from $50 to $60, and I maybe got three to four that year. Then after that, I moved it up the following year to 100 to 150. And I'm mentioning the dollar prices because it's a lot of big things that photographers that they see is they don't know how to price themselves. So obviously you start learning to price yourself as you go. But I went up to 150, and then from there, I started packaging it in threes, like do this, and this, each $1 price. And I booked 10 that year. And then the following year, that's when COVID hit. I still booked some, but they were outdoor. But I was like, I think I dropped down like maybe five to six then. And then recently, the beginning of the year, it was mainly weddings and quinceañeras that I've been getting photo shoots for. And those are the ones that have really been paying.
Right.
And getting me into that.
Yeah, I like that you don't limit yourself to the certain type. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that you like shooting and prefer.
Yeah.
But I like that you say, hey, I've done weddings, I've done this, I've done that, because you're only like getting better at your craft, right?
Exactly.
A lot of people don't, like, you can't just fucking do everything you want to do. You got to get better.
Yeah.
In anything.
Test every single thing.
Yeah. I just feel like anytime you're pursuing anything that's like content creation, photography, musician, comedy, like you have to put those reps in. You have to try different scenarios and different things. You know what I mean? I feel like with doing this, I've gotten better being a interviewer for people.
Oh yeah.
Because like I watch back stuff and I'm like, and I like catch myself like I should have asked this, I should have asked that. But by watching the film and the reps, I've gotten better.
You've seen it. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to think that, but I'm glad that you say that. Like, I'll do quinceañeras, I'll do photo shoots, I'll do boudoir. You talk about car shows and shit like that, man.
Oh, yeah. No, that's another project I'm working on right now because I just started my own publishing for a magazine. It's called Ill Society Magazine.
So tell us about that real quick. So what is Ill
Society Magazine? So the concept is for photographers by photographers. So obviously a magazine is published by photographers, but this one pretty much I'm wanting to test out photographers that think that they don't have it, but they do. Because of course, like when it comes to light manipulation, composition, photos, you test yourself. And not only you test yourself, but as well, you have a community behind you that you may feel that they're against you, but they're not. Photographers around the world love each other's work. But Ill Society pretty much is the dedication for photographers. So you like right now, the magazine itself is dedicated to cars and models. So from cars and models, we'll start branching out to other light manipulation tactics, black and white photography, film photography, and building more, because that was a big popular thing back. And then of course, the prints are gone away because everyone wants to do digital. So I want to kind of bring back that, because I know there's still some other magazines like Babe Magazine, Fast Life Magazine. They just still do prints and they look amazing, which I was published on one of them, but they still do amazing stuff. Yeah. And then of course it allows you to recognize like, hey, that's a good photographer. Yeah. You see his stuff and you're like, you know what, let me try and mimic something. Because you're going to go ahead and play something off. It's like, you know what, he put a light green, I want to put a red light.
Right.
And that's
Because you when you start going into, and that's a cool thing about, like, for me with content creation, like when you start talking to like-minded people and you bounce ideas off each other, like we said, you learn from each other, like little things like, hey, did you think about putting the camera at this angle? Did you realize that the filters for your mic, it catches the fan in the background? Oh, I didn't thought about it. And things like that. Oh, how did you get that shot from up there? Oh, how did you edit this? And it's cool that you can say, like, some people are not confident in their work. And you were talking about too the price thing too. That's a big thing too, man. Knowing your self-worth. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they will sell themselves short just because. Yeah. They don't know any better. They just like, oh, like
all the time.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
All the time they ask me. And I'm pretty open about it. When another beginner photographer asked me, he's like, hey, how much you charge? I was like, dude, I start off at $150 and I go from there. I was like, I even sit there, I was like, hey, let me check out your Instagram, and they show me your stuff. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. Like, I love the stuff that you're doing, because I don't pull it off, but you pull it off a lot better. So dude, an easy 150 for that shoot. Yeah. Or like 200, 300. Because I got more of my validation. I got more confident when some of the top-rated, I say they're top-rated photographers, Dave Quintana, Luis Durantes, Hobie Peña. These guys, they've been doing it for a lot longer than me. Dave, he was he started off at Best Buy selling film cameras, and he knows everything from film, and he's taught me about digital and composition. Luis Durantes, man, that guy's a monster when it comes to his composition, because he just captures some amazing images. And Hobie Peña, I've seen his work with models in person, and it's like watching water move down a river. Easily, he just gets them in place, takes his photo, click. And when they see my work, they're like, hey, dude, I love your stuff.
That's cool.
Like, you're doing good work. I was like, oh, appreciate you. I was like, no, right?
No, man. Isn't it cool, like, when you get that little pat on the back from somebody, like, up
that
here?
Recognition I got from
them, like, amazing. Up here. It's not like you're doing it for their approval, but when somebody just notices your work, yeah, it's cool, because I've got like the hey, man, I watch your videos, man, they're pretty funny. I'm like, cool, that's what I'm trying to do. Right? Yeah. Oh, I listened to your podcast, man. You said this and you had this guest, and man, that really resonated with me. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's exactly why I'm doing it. Exactly, yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not trying to get the pats on the back, but when I do, it's like, it feels good knowing that. It's a sigh of relief knowing. Yeah, like, I'm going in the right path. I'm going forward in this right path, man. So I like the fact that, you were shouting out those people, because you're like, hey, man, I've learned from them. Yeah, and it's cool to be like, hey, man, you're doing good, bro. Yeah,
and I learned a lot from you, buddy.
Hey, man, that's the thing too, man. And we're gonna talk about the aperture and the ISO and all that shit, shutter speed, because you know what I mean. I got these cameras, and I want to start doing vlogs and like take more photography and shit like that. So I'm gonna be picking your brain. Trust.
Yeah, by all means.
Trust on that, man. Trust on that.
Don't do it between 3 and 6 a.m. Anytime before that, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a night owl now because of photography. Photography has changed my sleep schedule.
Yeah. So you just up late, like usually editing or what?
Yeah. So the cool thing is I work from home on my 9 to 5. So I'm always next to my PC doing the work. But then when I get tired of that, I step away from it, and then I just pretty much start looking up ideas, look at other people's content, comment, just so I could go ahead and get the algorithms to recognize that I'm there. And then I go back to editing. Usually by midnight, I'm setting the computer down, and I'm like, all right, that's it. And then I head on up, and I still, just to go in and get a little bit two more edits, I still open up Lightroom Mobile, and I do a couple more, and then I'm out.
It's like, I like how you say that. It's like when when content creation, photography, or musician that I've talked to, it's like you're always doing something. Yeah. You're always, it's a 24/7 thing, and it might not, like, you might be focusing on it, but sometimes, like, sometimes I have to, like, it's hard to stop my brain.
Yeah, to turn it off, especially when it's coming down to winding down yourself. Like, you need to get your rest. But, like, you're like, I swear to God, I got this idea. I need to get this layer mask on this fucking person, and I need to just put some more light on her face. Yeah. And then, bam, as soon as I get it, I was like, all right, good. Done. Done for the night.
I'll be doing that too. Like, man, God, that was a good reel today. I can knock out that reel real quick. And I've gotten I've gotten better with my editing skills, because I can knock out like a decent amount of work in a small amount of time, but it's hard for me to stop because I know I could do it so quick. Yeah. All right, I did that one real quick. Let me just do one more.
Yeah, let me go ahead and knock out another one. Let me do this one. Let me do this one
more. Yeah, it's always like that. So, like, when you're without, like, names or, like, situations, like, what are some of, like, some of the stereotype questions or things that you have to answer on a daily basis when it comes to like people asking you about your work or on a shoot?
All right, I'm a professional guy because I'm married, but I always get asked, do you get hit on by the models? Mm-hmm. It happens, but obviously you gotta be professional. And where do you find these models? These are a lot of the questions that I get. How much time do you need to edit? What are some of the things you don't like about editing? And then there's those things where like do you really have to get your hands dirty? I was like, no. Like, one, when it comes to the models, like I just shoot my shot. It's just like dating. Like, you shoot your shot, you get shot down. Now, all right. But yeah, those are usually the common things that come up. Where do you get the camera equipment from is another one. Like, what are some of your favorite settings? Honestly, when it's settings, dude, those wheels on those cameras, I'm surprised they're still on there because I'd be gyrating them, boom, 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 left, right, just to go in and get the perfect light I want. How much you spend on equipment? That's a very, very common question. I mean, if you're gonna go ahead and start photography, and your question is the cost of equipment,
a lot,
yeah, a lot. I got $30,000 in credit card debt.
Right, no shit, right?
So but there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I like how you were talking about, and I'm glad you brought that up because I mean, you say you're talking about being in a relationship, and then you want to be taken serious for your work.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, I've had other friends that were like trying to be photographers or things like that, and it comes to situations they're being weird.
Yeah.
Making the people feel uncomfortable, especially with females. Like, I mean, I could only imagine like some female or even male are like model, they're trying to take themselves serious, and then you want to make sure that relationship is there, without being weird and like that, because I think that
it's a fine line.
Yeah,
it is. I mean,
yeah, because I'm sure there's a lot of creep photographers out there.
A lot of them.
You know what I mean. But like, so a lot of the time when you're gonna set up a shoot, it's like, is it you reaching out? Is it vice versa? Do you have like?
So a lot of the times I reach out for collabs. So I usually tell them like, hey, I was like, hey, I have this idea for a concept that I want to try. Like, it's like for like a test studio shoot. Like, I want to test out the studio. I'm going to start using it hopefully in the future. You want to come by so we could go ahead and check it out? They usually like, all right, cool. What idea do you have? Like, hey, they asked me a time. It was like time, date. And then I usually just kind of like, are you comfortable with lingerie? Are you comfortable with bodysuits? Or like, what are you comfortable with? And they usually give me like, oh, I'm when they tell me I'm comfortable with whatever. I was like, all right, cool. So bring your favorite lingerie, or if you want, I have a set that's been sitting there for my last client. So if you want it, you can have it. Just tell me your size. And yeah, just pretty much that small communication, not going into like, hey, what's up, girl? Like, can I get your picture?
Right.
Can I get your picture? It usually comes down to just like being straight to it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the idea I got. You want to try it out?
Yeah.
Or I just put it out to universe on a story and be like, hey guys, I'm doing a casting call for this. Who's down? Usually get all the guys that comes by like, I'm down to do it, buddy. But every now and then I get one or two. It's like, yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. And then I have my go-to models.
Yeah.
So those go-to models are always there in my back pocket all the time. I was like, hey, we're going to do this. It was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm available.
Yeah. And that's cool that you say that, because it's very interesting that communication is the same thing how I go about. Like, I think of topics all the time, and I think of certain people, and then I reach out, you know what I mean, to fit in the topic, because with me, I'm trying to just broaden my audience, and my goal is always to try to educate people or share light on people's journeys and shit like that. Yeah. So once I start thinking of people, I'll reach out to them, and I always like, it's cool that you say that the guidelines and how you want to go about it. So this way it's established ahead of time. They know you're serious, you know they're serious, and then you move forward. Yeah, because I could only imagine, like, with photography, like, how many times that you have to make sure that you let them know that you know, it's more about the work and shit like that.
7 out of 10 times I usually get shot down.
Yeah.
But those 3 other occasions, they usually fall.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, cool, let's do it.
That's cool. And I'm glad that you were honest like that. Hey, I shoot my shot with a lot of people and trying to reach out, and then sometimes it doesn't work out, right?
Even when I'm looking for paid clients or even for potential clients, I also do the same thing. Like, hey, you're asking for a cake smash photo shoot for your kid. Like, I'm available. This is my rate. This is what I could do. Here's my work. Here's my website. And sometimes it hooks in and they like it. Sometimes they're like, no, because of course, you know, Paso, I just have to fight well, not fight, but I do have to go ahead and stand out from other photographers that either have more availability than I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like you're that's one of the things that you have to do is it just as far as you have a 9 to 5, you have shit going on, and you can only limit it on time.
Well, they're more of the actual shit, I just dropped the word, but they're more of the manufacture rate. So they constantly do that. That's their dedicated goal to do that.
Yeah.
Like they have a team behind them. They have an editor. They have someone that does the books for them.
Yeah.
Like those are the people that I would end up competing, because I'm a freelancer / my own business, so self-proprietor, and I would handle that. I do the marketing.
Yeah.
I do the cold calls. I do the emails.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing everything on your own. Yeah, that's so like talking about all the different kind of shoots. Is there like any like funny stories that you can share without sharing any names, or odd situations where like I mean, you already mentioned the hot room, you know what I mean, but like talk about like maybe like somebody showing up or somebody standing there. Like, do you like let guests come with guests?
When it comes to photography, I always add a +1. I was like, feel free to do a +1. So I recently did a birthday photo shoot. She's never done photos for herself. She's always taking photos for her and her family with her phone, but she's never took time for herself. So I was like, I got you. She brought a +1. She had a cake with her. So she didn't want to do the balloon. She had a cake. And so we were joking around because she's married, and I was joking. I was like, hey, your husband's going to love these photos. Just pretty much hyping her up. She was loving it. She was into it. She was happy with it. And I told her, I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get a couple shots of you taking a bite of the cake, since we're going to wrap it up after this. So just take a couple bites out of the cake. Just relax yourself. Don't go cross-eyed. Don't look into your finger, and don't feel awkward. I got the shots, and I was like, all right, cool. Let me just review everything. And I realized when I got those shots, I was like, fuck, she already bit into the cake. It's already ruined. I can't go ahead and edit that back together. So I look at the photos, dude, straight out cross-eyed, like chin tucked in, cake, nail all in. I was like, oh my God. It's like everything else is perfect, but the facial expression she had at the moment was killer. And then I was a continuous shot, so I took like 4 shots at a time. So one eye was closed, the other one was open, finger was halfway, chin down. Another one, both eyes were closed, and then she had her whole finger in her mouth, and then she was just like tilted back, like it was like she just sucked on a lemon. And the last one was when she was just like looking away, and then she was taking her finger out of her mouth with the cake, and some of it on the lip, and it fell right just under her chin, and she went cross-eyed. And I was like, oh my God. I told her, I was like, there's like amazing photos, but
right.
I couldn't salvage those.
Right. Well, you were saying earlier, you can never have enough footage. You can never have enough pictures because you just never know.
You never know.
Like every time I go to record, I record 3 or 4 times just to make sure the audio looks good. Because I'm so like, God, imagine if I just have a whole conversation with somebody and I don't fucking record.
Exactly.
I've had fucking...
Dude,
I've had dreams like, God damn it. And like, you can't recreate it again. It's already too late. It's like you were in the shot, like, in the moment. Oh, let me go back.
The wind just comes at the right time and moves your hair, and then you didn't catch it because your SD card was loading. I'm like, we got to do it again. It's like, there's no wind. God decides to not let the wind move when we need it to happen.
So with everything you got going now, like, so the business has been going good. I mean, you've been doing it for 6 years. Like, you have gigs like weekly, every other week. Like,
so this last year, I did more quinceañeras and weddings. I did one wedding, which I jumped into I did more of the documentary style kind of wedding. Because typically I just do the like point, shoot, set the setting, do the video, click that, put that together, slap it together, and then just add music on top of it. This time I did photos and video, and then I actually did a documentary. So I actually sat down my client by himself, was like, set the camera, put up the lighting, and then focused on him and just asked him some questions like, hey, tell me about your relationship. And I recorded all that. So I'm putting that together with some dramatic music in the background, and I got to go get B-roll footage on that soon with my drone. But I have that. I did a quinceañera photos, which for any photographer out there, I'm just saying this now, have backups after backups after backups, because that's one gig I had to go ahead and give a full refund on because I lost the images.
Damn.
Yeah, right there. And then yeah, it was pretty much just wedding, quinceañera, wedding, and I've been doing a lot of photos. I've only done 2 gigs that have been video, and then I have a third one coming up in December 2nd, which that one's gonna be the last quinceañera video I do. After that, it's just gonna be all photography for quinceañeras. But yeah, that's usually been my niche. I had maybe the 2 birthday shoots, and then I had like just one collab that I did with testing out a new studio, which was with the I don't think if you saw the pictures of the girls with the angel wings.
Okay.
So I did that. So that's a new studio that I'm probably gonna be booking sessions there more. But that's usually that was pretty much this year.
Yeah.
Next year, I'm going into movie, man. I'm gonna be making
that's
a
what I was
movie.
gonna say. I like that you were saying it like photography, and then you were talking about video editing, because I mean it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
You might as well not limit yourself, and you talk about using a drone, and I mean, so you get the opportunity to have more work because of you're so versatile and so flexible. Like, hey, I can take a photo shoot, we do a photo shoot, then we can do some B-reels, and then I can do some drone shots, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that sets you apart from other people, because that's how it is, man. A lot of time, and you talk about the other photographers, when you start doing things to get better, people see it.
Yeah.
The right type of people will see it, and they will reach out if it makes sense to do things like that. Yeah, dude, because I always tell people when it comes to content creation, man, work on your content.
Yeah.
Work on yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do what you need.
Like, what's ever trending. Like,
do work on yourself. Like, get better at what you need to get good at. So this way, when you start doing stuff, you start separating yourself because you took the time to do it. Because a lot of people, you know how it is nowadays. Everybody wants that instant gratification, whatever the fuck it is. Whatever the hell it is, they want that instant gratification. I did this now, and I want the instant success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then why didn't I get it? Like, bitch, there's a million people doing the same goddamn thing.
The only instant gratification you'll find here in El Paso is if you actually got the following or you land on Fifth Fam. Plain and simple. Plain and
not for good reasons sometimes.
Not for good, yeah.
Right? Exactly. For good reasons, man. So what are your favorite types of shoots? Like, what do you like as far as like photography and then videography? What are your favorite types of shoots?
So favorite types of shoots for photography, boudoir is one of them. Portraits and family, because I'm big on family, so that's one of the things I do like. Those I do like to get those the most. I don't land them as much because either just other photographers take the gig instead of me. But usually those are the 3 main ones. And now it's more like, and fashion. Fashion is a big thing.
Yeah,
fashion.
you like doing so you go to fashion shows?
Yeah.
So a lot of the time you just go out on your own, and then when people start asking questions, you start passing cards out kind of thing?
So I don't do the cards anymore. I do digital. So I go ahead and send them my link. I actually make sure they get my contact on their phone.
Yeah.
Because I had the experience of having cards and I find them in the trash later on, or they're on the ground, or they never get back to me. So now I use a link, and I was like, yeah, let me text you the link, or I use my QR code and I give it to them. And I was like, here, hit the save button, and everything's on there for them. And then they see it, and I was like, cool, my information's right there. The QR code is on my car, so they'll be like, here, scan it.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to find me regardless, and they're not going to say like, oh, no, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I was like, you have me on the phone. There's no excuse, man.
Right.
There's no excuse.
I like how, that's one of the biggest things, too, is like having the confidence to tell people. Like, I have cards.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But, like, because obviously a lot of my content's, like, gaming related, and I've been doing more of the podcasting. But, like, I have a card with a QR code and shit like that. Because sometimes, like, I don't, like, it feels weird. Like, here, copy my code. Here.
Yeah.
Copy my code. And it just kind of looks weird for me, unless they really want to. Because I always feel like you have to, like, judge it. Because sometimes people just want to talk to you just to talk to you.
Well, that's one of the things I also like to do is music videos. I have a lot of artists that come with energy. Like, yeah, we got this plan. I was like, you have the energy. I talk to them, and then I give them my details. Like, here, reach out to me. Let me know when you're ready. I don't hear back.
Yeah.
Because either they fall off that energy, or they don't follow through with that, or their personal life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Or they end up getting locked up. You know, rappers.
Yeah. He said, rappers.
They have that rep. So yeah, that's one thing that I do. Like, I chat with a lot of people and I do conversate with them. Like, literally, I have on my computer sitting right now the Scarface and Twista concert. I only stayed up until Twista. Scarface left, Scarface was later, but I only stayed with Twista and my batteries were dead. So I recorded him, and I haven't edited none of that video, but I'm working on a documentary video for this other artist named The Long Gun. I'm working on his stuff. On top of that, he's been throwing my name out with a bunch of other artists, and they see me, and I'm like, here, man, here's the stuff, here's the stuff, here's the stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I got to pump my brakes back, and I'm like, hey, dude, you got this project want to do? I'm going to have to wait until this year.
Yeah.
We're going to push it back because I got these deadlines to meet. And so one of the things that I like to do more now is music videos. Yeah. Music videos are going to be the ones that are going to probably be moving me forward this next year, and documentaries. And then obviously I'm going to be doing a movie. Yeah. I'm going to be filming a movie.
So photography, videography, so documentaries and stuff. Like, so talk about like the type of movie, like what's going to be your role as far as the movie, like you're producing, you're just a camera guy.
So right now I'm directing. I haven't found my VP yet. I do have my grip guys, and I have other photographers that are actually going to be doing video work with me. So I have the storyline. It's going to be a mix of Power and the tax collector in El Paso. There's going to be pretty much the whole twist and turns, and it's going to be a slow project, but I mean, that's going to be one of those ones that's going to, once it hits, hopefully it hits soon enough, and it goes ahead and lights up more. But yeah, that's the one I'm really excited for. But yeah, right now I'm directing because I'm going to be directing, hopefully I'm directing the video for another artist, where his idea is having a broken up relationship, leaving Mexico, coming to the US. So we're touching that subject with immigration.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Especially with being a border city, and you said it earlier, quinceañeras are big here. Quinceañeras are big here, and like you can make a living. I've seen photographers in different quinceañeras, the same guy or girl for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like their work is proven, they're there, they're scheduling,
they're
whatever.
Grinding, they're moving it.
You know what I mean? You can make a living being a freelance photographer on top of your 9 to 5.
Yeah,
like,
you can.
You know what I mean? I love recording and doing shit like this, but this doesn't pay my bills yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sponsors.
Right? But I look forward to doing this, and I get better and better. And like with time, people can see like, hey, damn, Jimmy's taking the time to do this. Damn, Joe's taking the time to do this. He's done the XYZ. Oh, now he's gonna start doing a film. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So you're just like adding fucking tools to that tool bag, man.
Just more to the resume. That's what it constantly is
yeah, man.
That resume out.
Yeah, you have to stand out, and whatever it is, you want to fucking shoot 1,000,000 3-pointers. You got to shoot 1,000,000 3-pointers in the game. And practice to get better. You know what I mean? Same thing with photography, taking 1,000 shots. You know, I'm recording these podcasts. I get better. Every time I sit down with a guest, I feel like I'm getting better and things like that. But with the film, and you were saying that that's a long project. A lot of people don't understand. This is a lot of fucking time that takes to get things done. It takes so how did that thought come in? Like, okay, I want to record a film.
So the idea of film came to me when I did some work. I did some lighting work on a film from Border Studios. It was called A Haunting in Washington Heights, where it's an old building. It's an old house that they already sold, but the movie was called Horror in Washington Heights. So my buddy Johnny Schutz invited me out to that one. So I was helping out with lighting, and I was looking at everything. A good friend, David Corral, he does a videography too as well. He does music videos. I was working with all of them, seeing all what they did. I even picked out, I was like, hey, after like in between shots, I walked over to the director. I was like, hey man, can I take a look at your script? Like, can I see it? I was going through it, his ideas, shot list. I was like, okay, that's cool. Talked to the other grip guys, like, hey, what other sets have you gone work with? I talked to this other guy. His name's George. I forgot his last name, but he's moved up to, he was actually on set in Albuquerque with Mel Gibson not too recently. And I chatted with him during that set, and they told me about it, their ideas, what they do, and all the experiences they had. And I was like, fuck, this is amazing. So I got that idea from seeing the actual live work in hand, and then the equipment and the group of people that it took to make that happen. Even if we filmed scenes up until 2 a.m., but I saw all that work for those 6 hours, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I know it's going to be busting my ass, but if I make one, it's going to be fucking dope. And I sat down and I went back to YouTube college again, started looking at scripts, how to write a script out, looked at ideas, and then I was like, I even tapped into a couple film schools. Believe it or not, I tapped into their actual classes with one of their Google Meets, and I checked it out, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So I know what they're talking about. So it's like, I have the idea. I don't need to spend all this time at school right now to do that. Maybe later on I'll jump into the school just to go ahead and freshen up and then make it sure like it's solid. I have that on me, and yeah, sure. I started writing down, typing it out, and so far I have 6 scenes down and a whole episode together.
Nice.
So now it's just a matter of like getting another 2 more episodes together and then start getting ready to film.
Dude, that's dope, man. And it's so fascinating that when you get a spark, when you're around certain type of people and you see what they're doing and it sparks something in your brain.
Your circles make a very big
difference. Dude, it just like, I've been fortunate to be around some cool people and, you know, reach out and talk to like bigger creators or being around them. Like when I've gone to 2 conventions. And just being around certain type of people, like you get that energy and you get the knowledge, and
it just comes into you.
Yeah, just like everybody's so willing to help each other out, and the fact that you're like, man, I was on a film set with all these people, and you
never
you took the time. You were like, let me go ask the grip guy, let me go ask the light guy, let me ask the script. You know what I mean? For you to just like be, I'm a sponge. Yeah, dude.
Never in my life I thought I would find myself in a studio in a film set, and there I go.
Right.
I'm driving off at 5:30 p.m. I was like, hey man, where do I go? And he's like, hey, just come over here. And I was like, all right, cool. I showed up. I see the house. It's like I see a big LED light with a diffuser, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm really doing it. I'm really walking into a set.
That's dope. And it doesn't even matter, like a large or small, it doesn't matter for you to be around that and have the opportunity to do that. I say that all the time. Just having the opportunity to be around stuff like that it's always a learning experience. I love learning shit. And I love how you always say YouTube college, man. I don't know how much shit I learned. But like, we were talking about when you came in here, damn, this set looks dope. I'm like, bro, YouTube. I was looking at his reels. Bro, that's how it is, man, because that's self-taught and that motivation to want to learn and to do it. Like, you're not going to, like, yeah, I can go to school, whatever, but like, what can I do now to learn something now?
Yeah, well, like, for example, the last week I showed you when I talked about the microphones, how I showed you the light setup, how I had, where it was just brown light on me, and I had the background lights on me, which were green and purple, and I had those, and I was like, look at the setup. I was like, okay, and then your input on it, I was like, adjust the microphone a little bit more, and I was like, fucking great, fixed it, bam. Next time I have those sitting on my computer right now because I've had some other people asking me, like, hey, how do I do this camera? I just got this camera, so I'm like, I got to put those out now.
Right. Well, I like it. I record, like I was telling you earlier, I was like, I've been on a streak of just having weekly podcasts, but I always get ahead. Like I record a lot of stuff, and I'm fortunate to every time that I've reached out to somebody, they've said yes.
Yeah.
You know, like the people that I really want to work with, because I'm selective to a certain extent. I want to make sure that when I have people on, it shares a light on their journey. You learn something.
Yeah.
You might as well learn something and maybe get a good laugh or two when you're fucking having 2 people sit down and bullshit. You know what I mean?
Chopping them in.
Yeah, man. So with all that said, man, you got all this experience going on, and where do you see yourself like in the next 5 years, like short term, like what would you see yourself and hopefully be doing?
So short term, right now I have a other photographer friend of mine, Jose Galvan, Pepe Galvan. We are wanting to build a team. We want to build a team that we could go ahead and actually go full production. That's the goal. Like my goal is full production, photography, video, cinematography, the whole 9 yards. Like I want to be able to wake up, check my email and say like, hey, we have this shoot we have scheduled. I have this photo shoot this evening. I want to wake up to that and have that just moving me instead of just waking up, got to clock in, take calls, do these reports, and then clock out and edit and go search for work. Like I want these to like just land, not only land on me, but as well reach out like, hey, you're Jose Perez with Star Studio City, Mountain Star Studio or Big Joe Picks Photography. Like we need this done. Like I want to be that. I want to be that. That's the short term and long term goal.
Yeah.
Short term because it's just building the team right now. It's just me, Jose Galvan. I have a fourth photographer. But they both they move here and there with their things and they have their own stuff. So I was like, I'm not gonna drag them away from that. But when it comes to me and Pepe Galvan, I mean, he recently did the edit for Mosto Restro Garage. I forgot the name, but they work on custom vehicles. They do old work. So I helped them out, set him up his audio and of course his lighting so we could go ahead and do that part of their deal. And that's after we did that, we're like, fuck yeah, that's it. Let's do it. Because I was going to move to Colorado. That got pushed back a little bit, but I still will be traveling back and forth to Colorado because that's another portion of photography and video that I need to expend outside of El Paso.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes like to grow, sometimes you have to be able to, I like how you were saying that you know these people and you've worked with them, so you can eventually work to that goal to possibly get there. Because when you're working with people, you want to be able to know them, driven, want to make sure that you guys are all on the same page. Because when you start building a team, that's when it gets tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With anything, I tell people all the time, like, damn, you do everything yourself. I'm like, I do because
I could only have that.
Exactly. It's like I know that I can depend on myself, and I'm not saying that I can't depend on anybody else, but it just, if it's all me doing everything, I know what I can handle and not handle.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Even though I want to do like separate things, and I was telling you, like, I have a side project, you know, not just Gamer Dad's podcast with a homeboy. Shout out to my boy Tetsu's Temple. You know, we met each other by playing games, and we've gotten to know each other, and we've known each other, and our chemistry has built over time.
Yeah.
Then it made sense that we wanted to do something together,
and it comes together,
and it worked because we already built that friendship and relationship beforehand. Because I don't want to like work with somebody and they're half-ass if I'm full in, and vice versa if somebody's full in and I'm half-ass. You know what I mean? Because I'm getting to the point to where I don't want to waste your time or my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's cool that you say that. Hey, man, I'm talking to the right type of people, and I'm leaning toward this this goal of wanting to be a one-stop shop.
Yeah, it's still circles. I mean, I've changed my group of friend circles a lot because of photography, and it's made me a better person, knowing that not only I could rely on someone else to like give me an input, but get their opinion and as well get their guidance on something. Because I mean, I could turn around and ask you like the PC questions, like, hey, what kind of processor I need to go ahead and handle a 4K video?
Yeah.
Right away. You didn't bat an eye to tell me the information I need. So I was like, okay, great, fantastic. I know what I need to do. And then I apply myself, and it's just those relationships and that knowledge that you have with one another that you build up that actually changes, and those circles change.
Yeah. I'm glad that you talk about the circles, because I mean, you've known me. I'm a pretty social guy, and I have a lot of close friends. And even then, they're like, they don't know what the fuck I do when it comes to gaming, or they just see my videos and shit like that. So can you talk about how you explain to your friends and family, like, what you're doing? Do you ever get like, what are you doing that? Why are you wasting time? You're not making money. And like, how do you go about like having to deal with the naysayers or critics?
Yeah. So the critics, I have critics. I've never heard them. I know they're close.
Look at Joe trying to do this thing.
Yeah. I know they're close, but I don't see them or hear them because they just come out. But when my family sees me, my aunt, my uncle, my sister, my wife, my daughter, when they all see me doing something I like, I could see it in their reactions. Like, hey, I love it. Like, that's great. With me, I go to their input, like, hey, what'd you think? They're like, oh, I like this. Or my wife tells me, like, talk to that model. See if you could go and ask her to do a shoot with her. She's pretty. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And when I get those responses from close family members and friends, I'm like, okay, like, I know I'm doing something right. When I hear a critic, it's either from someone else or another photographer telling me, like, hey, this guy mentioned you. I was like, that's all right. It's like, what'd he say? It's like, oh, he just didn't like your composition. It's like, oh, shit, I have another angle, dude. He didn't even see that shit. But yeah, the critics, they're there. I don't hear them, but they're there. And will I ever hear them? I have no clue.
Right.
I have no clue.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point to where, like, and I heard, I forgot who this was. I think it was an actor one time. He was like, if somebody has an issue with me and, you know, if they don't have my number to talk about it, then I don't care.
Yes.
I'm like, because I've gotten better with time, because I've been, you know, creating content for 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always worried about, did they like my reel, or like, oh, this streamer said this content creator said this. And after a while, I'm like, I don't even fucking care.
Yeah, fuck that.
I don't even fucking care. Like, if you don't like me, then that's fine. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say I'm not going to defend what I'm trying to do. I have no time to reply to you or care about what you say, because I used to be like, oh yeah, the streamer said this about you, and I used to be like, well, what did they say? And now I'm like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah. No, even recently, so I had one of my bad experiences was maybe my second year into filming quinceañeras. I had a client. This is like a communication. He came to me in the middle of the night. I was already wrapping up my night just from editing. He's like, hey, I need to get this video for this quinceañera, this and that. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, I told him, like, how long do you need me for? 6-7 hours. He was like, oh, can we do it for just a video? I was like, all right, cool. Like $800. I'll do you the favor, 800, because he did it last minute. It was like literally weeks before, like 2 weeks before the event. And usually in a quinceañera, you're planning a year in advance if you're smart about it. But this guy, he ended up reaching out to me 2 weeks before. I was like, all right, told him 800.
Yeah, you covered everything.
Yeah, we'll do the video. He turns around and is like, the week before, he's like, can you do photos? I was like, shit. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll throw it in there. I told my buddy, I was like, hey man, can you come with me? I'll cut you 300 for the photos. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So we go into it. No, I told him we're going to go half. So I got the deposit, half of it, and then the other half was him. So I was like, all right, cool. Got the video. I gave him a receipt the day of. We started filming. We lasted the whole entire night. Come around 12 o'clock. We did the cake cutting. We're going to wrap it up. And I mean, this guy was plastered.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he was cinnamon wasted. And we're about to wrap it up. He's like, hey, can you take some more photos? I was like, yeah, sure. We got a couple more. He's like, hey man, we're gonna wrap it up. I gave you the receipt earlier today. He's like, can you cover payment? Call me tomorrow about the payment. Didn't hear about it, obviously, because he was cinnamon wasted. He even asked me to go over to his house. He's like, we're gonna have banda, we're gonna have menudo, all this food. He's like, as great as that sounds, dude.
I appreciate it, but yeah.
We're exhausted, and plus I gotta get on this edit. Got home, started working on the edit, started doing the edit. I was halfway through the edit. He's reaching out to me, like, hey, where's the footage? Where's the footage? Like, hey man, I'm working on the edit. Give me some time. We had some mishaps with some family members. And I couldn't get the video to him, but we got into photos like 6-7 times. I sent those photos out to him. He never downloaded them. And I was like, dude, you're taking up my space for me to get these photos to you. It's like, I need to drop them. So moved them out of the way. Still have them stored. To this day, they're still stored. And yeah, so he recently went out to 915 on blast and blasted me. And then I had the support from everyone else that was actually watching out for me. And they were like, hey, why this, and this, and that. So I was like, shit. Like, I mean, he blasted me. I was like, I can't really say about it. He didn't get his stuff, but at the same time, he never paid.
Let me get my 2 cents over here trying to put me on blast.
Yeah, he never paid. He never got the content. He never downloaded the stuff. And there's like conversations of me and him going back and forth. And he went to threats and whatnot. I was like, you know what? You're going to be that guy. I'm just cut my loss.
Right.
I'll just cut my loss.
Isn't that suck? Like I've talked to other people when they like I was talking to Chef Clay, shout out to Chef Clay. He was like, you like having to haggle for a price and to get paid. Yeah. That's like the most ridiculous thing. Like I'm providing a service and we talked about it ahead of time. It's not like it's anything different. Yeah. And they try to make you look bad when you did everything right.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's one of the things I stay firm. Like if I adjust myself when it comes to price, I have to get very, very good specifics. Like I need to find out. Like I don't even give prices anymore when I give quotes. Like, hey, can you do photos? He's like, how much is it? And they asked me right for a price. I'm like, nah. I was like, before I give you a price, tell me what you need, wants, needs, your dislikes and your likes. So I know I could come back. It's like, if you don't like this price because this person's doing this, this, and this, I could do this for this. And 9 times out of 10, it's successful, but at the most of it, when they deny it, it's usually because they don't see the value behind it because they've never experienced it. And I Facebook stalk the shit out of people when they ask me for quotes. I'm like, oh, okay, like I see you do a bunch of selfies. I see you use filters like crazy. Your nose doesn't look that way. And I'm just like, all right, you know what? Like, I know you're going to ask for this much. I'll do it for this price. And then usually I get the good response. Like, all right, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're in.
Yeah.
And I knock it out and I make miracles. Like Jesus Christ couldn't make that kind of miracle when I did it. And they were like, oh, wow, you really made me look skinny and my cup size is 2 sizes bigger. And like, I have a waist. I was like, yeah, because that's what you asked for. Mm-hmm. So for what you
paid for. Yeah. It's the experience that you have.
Yeah. And they turn around and love it.
Yeah. Like and I'm not in that situation where you have to like haggle a service. Like I can only imagine, like, damn, like what you said with the quinceañera, like I've already been here X amount of time, provided the service. Now I have to cut that loss because I helped you out last minute.
Yeah.
You know, that's shitty to have to do that, man.
The price haggling. I mean, I don't want to say it's the city itself, but I believe it's just certain people that make it that way.
Yeah.
Because there's clients here in El Paso that will pay $400, $500, $1,000 to even $2,000 for these types of services. Like even for podcasts, I mean, they're gonna pay, but there's those certain people that spread that ill negative about like haggling.
Yeah.
And it's like I hate it. Hate is a strong word.
Yeah, just like you dislike that situation because like I know my worth. You see my work. I shouldn't have to fucking tell you. Well, I charge this much, and then you say it's too much, and I have to bring it down to make
just to satisfy your needs.
Yeah, dude. You know. So with that being said, how many times have you turned down work when they said, "I want to do this and this," and you're like, like I've
turned down like maybe three gigs. 3 gigs. 1 gig I turned down. It was. One was an actual. They wanted a 10-minute video, for a memorial service, and I was like, ooh, like I'm putting a camera on top of a casket. There was one I turned down. That one, it was $1,200. I turned down a photo shoot, which could have been life-changing, but there was a lot of what ifs to it. This was a travel gig too, because I was going to be flown out to California for this one. And it was a car dealership. They wanted X amount of photos and reels, and they wanted it done in a weekend span. And I was like, shit, that's literally like about 15 hours I'm going to put into work for just filming and getting everything I need. And then
the editing process.
And they wanted it. And the turnaround the money was good, but the turnaround was too bad. And I was like, you know what?
As much as I want to do it, I just can't.
I'm not going to be able to
fulfill that.
I'm not going to be able to deliver. And the corporate part of it is the corporate ones is the ones I've turned down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have the money is not an issue to them. They expect. If I'm going to pay this is what I want.
Yeah.
Because if not, we can find somebody else.
Yeah. Or they're not familiarized with the film industry. They're like, I want it to look like John Wick. I was like, shit. Okay. You want me?
I got Juan Wick for you.
Right? Yeah. I got Juan
Wick. I don't got John Wick type of shit. Yeah.
He's not gonna have the full beard. It's gonna be chino.
Right?
Like that good.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. Or even when it comes to color grading, I'm nowhere close to color grading, and they've asked about it, and I've turned it down because I was like, they want a specific color.
Well, that's good that you know exactly what your limitations are, because I know. And it's not a knock on people. They take on more than they can chew.
Yeah.
And that might be bad for your brand or for your you're putting your work out there. Like, oh, I hired this guy and he fucking can't even show up.
Yeah.
How you said it before. And just like, damn, you have one negative review or whatever, and it starts spreading out.
Yeah, it travels a lot further.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be that.
Yeah, one negative review travels a lot further than a positive review.
Yeah.
That's the shitty side about things. Human beings can be fucked up when it comes to that.
Yeah, one person could say one thing and 1,000 good reviews, one negative. Oh, I saw that negative review. It must be like that'll just it'll downgrade their service or what they could provide, like, which is bullshit.
Destroy it.
Yeah, man. With all that being said, man, we talked about how you got into it, how you've been doing it, what you're trying to do. To anybody that might be listening or like might want to pursue like photography or freelance work like this, what are some of the things that you can you can say, hey, do this, don't do that. Prepare yourself for this, don't do that, expect this, and like some of the things that if you want to go into photography, what are some of your advices for people out there?
Man, I know I wanted to hear that question so bad. And I could tell you this, when it comes to photography or even jumping into the film, the world with the camera, whether if it's for TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Reels, whatever the case it is, find a community that you can ask questions. Asking questions and practice. Practice. There's no there's no perfection to this, because every time you practice and you do something, you're going to learn something different, and you're going to go ahead and pick something different, and you're going to be creating your own style. So practice is key, asking questions and finding peers that are into it. Those are pretty much your main go-to things when it comes to jumping into that, whether if it's for cinematography, videography, or photography. Always ask questions and find peers. Peers are not going to be that far away. They're always going to be there. You have peers that are out of state that will still reach out to you and also answer those questions. That's pretty much the gist of that.
Yeah.
And cost is going to be an issue. Don't worry about it. There is workarounds. There's always workarounds, especially if you could afford $20 a week, you could get a camera. If you could afford $50 a month, you could get a good camera. Your cell phone.
You could even just start with a cell phone, right?
Yeah, even perfect. Cell phone and tripod. $20 tripod and a cell phone. Bam. Mm-hmm. You got your first studio.
Yeah. I like that you say that, because I tell people all the time when they ask me about streaming, I want to stream, I want to do this, but I don't have a computer. You have a PlayStation or Xbox? Yeah. Well, you could make a Twitch account, and you can stream straight from there. Well, I don't got a camera. Well, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If there's a will,
there's a way.
There's a fucking way. I hate saying it. It's cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
As I start talking to different people in different aspects of life and how they're pursuing their careers or things they want to do, I always like hearing that. Like, hey, man, I started like this. You went to Rent-A-Center, overpaid for a fucking camera that took you a year and a half to pay for, but you took the time to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, how much do you want it? Everything is like, everybody just wants everything to just fall on their lap and everything to come their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The mentality of it coming to you. You're going to grind for 5 to 10 years, putting in a lot of work. You're not going to see a dime. You're going to see a little bit of return, or you won't see a dime. But at the end of it, once you've actually reached that successful point where it's showing up to you, you're going to go ahead and be shocked at not only yourself, but as well as what you accomplished, because of the fact that you stuck to it. I've almost come to the point of quitting, but like for the last 6 years, I've been grinding. I even out every year, maybe 2 years, I went ahead and had a loss, but I've evened out every year to the point where it's not a loss, but I could see myself getting better and better and better, and getting that actual shot that's going to be like, you know what? That's the magazine shot that's going to go ahead and pay me the next 2 months.
Right. That's cool that you look at that way too, because like a lot of people want that instant success, and they see other people doing X, Y, Z, and they think they can do it too. Like, hey, man, I just started doing this podcast thing a year and a half ago, and I'm blunt. Like, I'm not making money, and it's not like I'm trying to do it for the money. I enjoy doing this. If it could lead to that, then great. But, like, my production value, my lighting, I'm getting better at doing this, and I could attract the right type of people
from the one ring light
here, man.
Came from the one ring light and that green screen
right
to this. I
know, man.
What?
Right? I know, because when you first came, like, I had a limited setup, and I'll show you my setup before you leave, man. It just, when you get so like into something, and I'm like that, and it's good seeing that you do that too when it comes to photography and all this stuff too. I love that, because seeing you drive and do that inspires me. Like, damn, Joe's been doing this, and he said he was gonna do it, and like, man, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to this fool, because I know that I could. And we're already established. We've already known each other. But it's cool that we have that in common, that we're both trying to pursue this, man.
In that same field.
That's dope, man. Yeah. So before we get out of here, man, plug yourself. Let everybody know what you got coming on. Like, where can they find you?
All right,
some of the things you got lined up that you can share and shit like that, man.
Well, I'm an open book, so I'll share everything. So yeah, I'm going to be working on the film. Hopefully, starting January, February, I'll start putting out the casting calls for that. It will be a 0 budget film. But I mean, if you want that camera play, you want to have that acting experience under your belt, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram is at big_JoePics. You can find me at bigjoepics.com. You'll see all my work there. I have a 360 video booth as well too, for those corporate events you guys want. I do film, photography gigs, for sure. For November and December. I should be booking studio space, studio time at 4B Studio. They have an amazing studio. Appreciate you guys for actually giving me the opportunity to go use their studio. But yeah, Jose Perez, Joe Perez is my Facebook. Big Joe Pics is the website, bigjoepics.com. Big_Joe Pics is my Instagram, and of course my magazine, Ill Society magazine, right there for you photographers that think that you guys want to get published and have that under your belt. Feel free to go ahead and the email address is there, and send in your photos, and let's all create and get something big. And of course, I really appreciate you for bringing me.
Yeah, man. Of course, I'm glad that you took the opportunity. Like, hey, man, reach out to me. Let's work together if it makes sense. Which is cool because like you want to get to that. You had people like, hey, do this, do that, and you want to be like, having that magazine, an opportunity for people like you think you don't have it, but like, hey, reach out to us and let's see. You know what I mean? Working together. I like the fact that you do that, man. But thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
For coming on here, man. Yeah. This is. I'm sure it won't be the last time we have you on, and all the description guys will be at the bottom, man. You can go check him out on his website, Instagram, all that good stuff will be there, man. Yes, but thank you so much for your time, brother.
Absolutely, bro, man.
Yeah, man, for sure, bro. Yes. Bro, I wish you the best, man, and I'll keep up with you, man, of course, man, and we'll go from there, brother.
Hell yeah,
man. If you guys watching this on YouTube, on Facebook, on anything, Spotify, iTunes, make sure you guys follow. We have all different kind of content. We have reels, we have weekly podcasts, we have all types of people coming on here, and I'm just fortunate to sit down and talk to some dope ass people, man. Until next time, peace out, homies. Y'all take care.
Take care, bro.